Spooky Tuesday.
Okay. Jennifer's evil.
I know.
No, I mean, she's actually evil. Not high school evil. I've been through the occult section at the library 5 times.
Our library has an occult section.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff, and this week we are talking about Jennifer's Body, a beautiful, flawless, incredible, iconic, legendary film. I think I mentioned last week, but I believe that I saw it in theaters. Now that I have watched it again and reconciled with the fact that it's rated R and that it came out in 2009, I'm not sure how that was. Somebody's parents must have taken us, I guess. Because I was
Or you were a bad girl and you snuck in.
I told you I'm a nice girl. I would never do such a thing. But I don't know. I viscerally remember seeing it in theaters and even at the time being like, wow. And I always thought it was great. But that hasn't traditionally been the case. Like the history of this film is that it kind of got shit on immediately, and only over the years has its cult following become really clear. And only in the past years has there been like 300 essays of people being like, you need to apologize to Megan Fox, and like Jennifer's Body is great and everyone else is wrong. So I think there's really been like this cultural
And all
reckoning.
of those articles are right.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Every single one of those articles are right.
Yeah.
Finally, it's about time.
But Monica,
10 years too late, honey.
I know. Monica, you actually hadn't seen it until we watched it with our spooky crew, I think like last summer, right?
Oh, no, yeah, I had never fucking seen this movie before. I had heard about it, and I remember in 2009, you think Chelsea's the nice girl of the pod. I was so nice in 2009. Oh my god. I was absolutely terrified by the whole concept of it. I was like, it sounds too sexy. It sounds too scary. So it was off the table. It was not even something I would consider seeing. But yeah, I'd heard about it through the years, but like the narrative really fucking sticks. I heard that it sucked, you know? And so I knew Megan Fox was hot, but I also heard that it sucked. And then like in the last like, I don't know, few years, it had come up in GIFs across the land, and I was like, who cares if it sucks? It looks nice.
And honestly, if you just had to go on the looks, this movie would still be great. But also the words in it, amazing.
The dialogue is absolutely unbelievable. It's like quote after quote after quote after quote of just pure absolute gold. I was like, I would never be able to say things this witty in high school. So unrealistic, but we love that. But yeah, seeing it over the summer, it was like a fucking revelation. Like did I not lose my mind? I was freaking out the entire time. I was screaming at the top of my lungs in my house, like, how have I never seen this before? Everything changed on this day. I should have written down the date and celebrated it every year. But
would you like me to find it in my calendar for you?
I would love that, actually, and then we could watch it every year on that day for the rest of my life. We being me, but you guys can come too.
This movie came out my freshman year of college, and this movie was right at my level when this came out.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was so into this movie. This movie, to this day, is still one of my, like, top 3 favorite movies. Chelsea, for whatever reason, was like, I thought Sydney didn't like it. No, I just couldn't. I had plans for the spooky time, so I just couldn't watch it with y'all.
Oh my god, she was so offended when you said that. Sydney was like, how dare you give this blasphemy of me disliking this absolute gold mine.
She doesn't like modern horror movies, you know? I mean, I would be shocked because I would be like, I feel like you didn't watch the movie, and if you gave it another chance, you'll change your mind. But I also wouldn't be shocked if such a film Sydney did not like. It's simply impossible with this one though. And also, I pulled up the date. It was June 30th. And also when you said that it came out your college year, your freshman year of college, I looked at the date again. It came out September 18th, 2009. So I was actually 17 at the time. Maybe I bought my own ticket. Maybe I bought my own ticket like a bad girl who's following the laws for ages that you can see the movies.
What a bad bitch following the letter of the law. You were like,
Here's the thing.
my very first R-rated movie, and I'm gonna choose this sexy one with Megan Fox. I can just imagine you
Could
being
you have
nervous
picked
about
anything
it.
better?
Oh my god, what an amazing one to choose. You're
Dear
very
listener,
lucky.
I just want you to picture the setting. Late 2009. TikTok by Kesha is the number one song.
Oof.
You go and see Jennifer's Body in theaters. You are a free woman.
It awakens
Yeah.
something inside of you. Have you been by this whole time, or did it just begin?
Or are you actually a demonic succubus?
Only time
Could
will
go
tell.
either way. I mean, those things are pretty similar on paper.
It could go both ways.
Oh, but shh.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I will be leaving the podcast now. Goodbye.
this is our first movie that we're doing that's actually gay for Pride Month. Not that's actually gay, but that's actually gay for
The
Pride
roommate.
Month. Yeah, because the
Okay,
roommate
yeah.
gave
It's
us
Pride Month.
our first canon queer character, and then I think something else gave us our first canon queer kiss. I don't know. Maybe that was just the roommate. But obviously, Society, which we did last week, also pretty gay.
Very gay.
But this has characters being like, I mean, when she says I go both ways, she's obviously talking about something slightly parallel to romantic interest. But frankly, we all know what's happening here. We're not stupid. And then also they make out and everybody knows that and it's famous and it's very good kissing.
It's very good kissing. Top 10.
But the whole film,
Kiss
so
ever.
gay. So unbelievably gay.
So gay. Oh my god. So, Cindy, what's the IMDb summary?
A newly possessed high school cheerleader turns into a succubus who specializes in killing her male classmates. Can her best friend put an end to the horror?
This
Can she?
is a
I
fucking
mean,
great synopsis. Oh,
no.
newly possessed cheerleader. That's just like beautifully. It's just so casual. Newly possessed.
No is the answer to that question, but not in the way that I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is one of the movies, I mentioned this last time when we introed it, but this is one of those good for her genre movies where people are like, actually, Megan Fox should be allowed to kill boys. And I fully support her. And I think she did nothing wrong. And the fact that Amanda Seyfried doesn't agree for some reason, she's being a bad best friend.
She is being a bad best friend, because if she was a good best friend, she would just advise Jennifer to kill bad guys not in their town.
Yeah, you could go like full
Yeah.
Edward Cullen from Twilight where you only go after predators. You know what I mean?
True. But I would also be pretty fucking pissed off if you like convinced my boyfriend to make out with you and lied and said that I've been cheating on him, and
But
then
that
you
happens-
killed him.
That happens afterwards. That happens after Needy is already like, I will stop you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess she liked Colin a lot too.
Sure. Look, I'm not saying Jennifer's
Who
strategy
can
was
blame
the
her?
best.
Well, but here's the thing. Jennifer, one, even though this is a horror / comedy,
Mhm.
what it really is a love story between Needy and Jennifer,
Mhm.
and Jennifer being a deeply closeted lesbian, and Needy being a bisexual, and Jennifer getting jealous and competitive with all the guys that Needy, has a thing with, so she directly tries to go after
Yeah.
said guys that Needy shows interest in.
Yeah.
The football player, I think, was just for funsies.
I think she was hungry.
Yeah, well, I don't think she was hungry because it was the next day after she had just eaten Amit, the foreign exchange student. I think she was like riding that high, and just like having a grand old time.
She was power hungry that time.
She was power hungry,
Yeah,
and
for
also
funsies.
she didn't necessarily have like a good feel yet for how long things needed to go. She just knew that she needed to feed to have her powers. But I think she was still just like, this feels so amazing. I want this feeling to keep going and I'm going to ride this high. I don't think she realized yet that she can go a couple weeks in between.
let's talk about how our girl Jenny from the block got
No.
possessed by
Jenny
the
from the
succubus in the first
block.
place.
Okay.
Yeah. This fucking movie, okay, every time I watch it, which is 3 times now, I forget how it's set up. Like,
Yeah.
that it's, like, from Amanda Seyfried's, or from Needy's perspective, and she's already in prison at the beginning. And I always am mad that that's how the whole setup is. It ends up being good. Like, the ending is so cathartic, obviously, but, like, the beginning is so, like, so I bet you wonder how I ended up here. Like, that's literally what it is.
She does like the freeze frame look into camera.
Yep. Exactly.
That's true. I think the voiceover works really well some places and less so other places. I think the beginning works best when you've already seen the film once. And you can have an appreciation for like what's going on, and you can start to think to yourself like, what's her game plan here? What's her strategy? What's she doing? Is she just like being difficult for fun? I've got some discussion questions about this movie, so I don't want to ramble too much because I would love to get to my discussion questions. And that's going to be one of them is like, what was her game plan there? But yeah, so it actually opens with her in the hospital, and she's like, I'm a kicker. So she like hardcore kicks one of the doctors, and she gets herself put in solitary.
Yeah.
And then
she kicks
over
that
the
doctor
radio,
just for being like, are you hungry? Like,
just for
'cause
being
you
like, you
haven't
can't
eaten very
live on
much.
Pop-Tarts.
And she's like, fuck you, bitch. Boom. Gets rid of her tooth.
She's
right
like,
then and there.
I'm 17. Of course I can live off Pop-Tarts.
But yeah, she goes into solitary, Low Shoulder song. A plot point begins to play over the radio, and she's like, I hate this song. And then it gets us back to the beginning of the movie, where it kind of it gives us this setup of like her spying on Jennifer through her window, and then the setup of being like, we were practically sisters, like we were so close, like we weren't all fucked up 2 months ago, which is interesting to realize that it's just 2 months later when she's in the hospital, because I always forget that part of the time
It's not
frame.
a hospital, is it? I thought she was in prison.
I think it's like a hospital for incarcerated people, like people who've been deemed criminally insane or not fit to stand trial.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's like kind of a hybrid scenario.
Oh yeah, because that guy is wearing scrubs.
Yeah,
Totally
and
went
she's
over
got
my
like
head.
her little bunny slippers, and she has all of the letters that people send to her being like, you're doing great or whatever, being like, accept Jesus and you'll be fine. And she says she gets more letters than Santa Claus, Zac Efron, and Dr. Phil combined. And I wrote that down because I was like, what a trio. But yeah, so I think the implication is, I mean, I don't know, if it's only been 2 months, maybe she's still like awaiting trial even. Clearly she's if you saw her at the end of this experience, you would fairly assume that she is not in her right mind to be acting in such a way, especially if she's going around talking about demons and such. And she had been for a while. Like if I was just about to be like, if Chip testified on her behalf, but never mind.
No, he can't.
Never mind.
The librarian can be like, hey, she checked out every book on the occult.
She sure was spending a lot of time in the occult section. But anyway, so she starts in the mental hospital, and she takes us back, and it kind of really things begin when Jennifer's like, let's go to this concert. These guys are from this city. They're a cool new band. I found them on MySpace, which is just so of its time. Honestly,
I also became a groupie of a band by finding them on their MySpace page. So
was MySpace still around in 2009?
Well, the thing that's interesting is, well, I mean, first of all, Diablo Cody wrote this movie in like 2006, 2007 when MySpace was still at its height. Okay. But MySpace was very much still a thing for music, much longer than it was a thing for like social media. Like everybody had migrated to Facebook, but it was very much still like a music hub. I think they even like changed their business model at one point to be like specifically music centered.
Yeah, I would literally like message the band that I was low key groupie for. on MySpace in 2009. 2009 is the year that I found them. So, yeah. And it's a beautiful place, MySpace. I made a lot of lifelong friends on MySpace. R.I.P.
I miss Tom, my first internet friend.
Oh my God,
Tom.
what a guy.
I
He's
miss
a
all
very,
the Edward Jacob Twilight role-playing accounts I had in my top 8. Don't know who they were, but I was just like, I'll be your friend. Top 8 material right there.
It's fucking incredible.
I do miss the power you felt with deciding the order of your top 8.
Oh, yeah.
A high I will never get back.
Truly, truly. But okay, so what is the way? How does she describe this band? Is this when she first refers to them as
they're
salty?
Which I have a very different definition of salty.
Yeah, I feel like most people do.
But also, I feel like that definition has really come about in I think it maybe always existed. I don't think it's like particularly new. But I feel like it was really thrust into the modern parlance over the last few years. And you have to remember this movie came out like 12 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we used to call people salty in high school. And it just means that you were like bitter or butthurt.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what being salty meant.
I never heard
she
a single
says
person
it's
say
beautiful.
it's hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Diablo
like
Cody, her whole thing is like, not her whole thing, but one of her things is coming up with new slang or really like kind of innovative ways of speaking. She does. It's not Gilmore Girls-esque, where Gilmore Girls is just the rapid fire, but it's like with Clueless, where they have like the term Monet and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where they were kind of making up their own teen language. Like that's
they
very
all have
Diablo
their whole
Cody.
own language. It's like how they called each other Monostat and Vagisil. Like, that's just for them, which I loved.
And
I loved that.
And I get that, but as teenagers, like teens were already using salty for a different meaning. So like that irked me. I was like,
Megan plays by her own rules. Excuse me. Jennifer plays by her own rules.
I was just like, why are they going to see a bunch of bitter boys? And then I was like, indie band. Okay, that makes sense.
It does fit for them. But then also they get the explanation in there where Chip is like, what's salty mean? And she's like, it means hot. And it's like, okay. In case anybody wasn't
but then he says, then you must be soy sauce,
He's getting it. He's close. He's got the spirit of things.
He's doing his best. Yeah.
Chipper.
Also, I just have to say that, like, if any man referred to my vagina as my front butt,
a through line to society.
Yes, seriously, front butt. I thought that too. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, we planned that. But honestly, how dare you disrespect the flower of a woman and call it a fucking front butt?
But also, like Chip, I too love the term front butt and think it's very funny. So
I think it's really funny.
I'm on the opposite of you from that one.
It's very funny, but I would be offended if Adam said that to me. But I also did not like that he said, "I can see your womb." I was like, that's visceral to me. Like, bleh.
This is the era of low-res jeans,
like,
though.
It's her rock look. Let her live.
I do not miss low-res jeans.
Me either.
Again, like, I don't want anybody to see my womb. Ever.
Like, no, I don't want to see your womb either.
I would like my jeans waistband.
I take that back. I would like Monica to see my womb once.
Scary.
Okay, I mean,
it is Pride Month.
Whatever you want.
It is Pride Month.
What does that mean?
I don't know what I'm agreeing to. I'm making a lot of questionable deals on this episode. But yeah, I mean, it's just iconic line after iconic line here. It is super sad though, because they set up right at the beginning, like kind of like the unfair power dynamic between Needy and Jennifer. I keep calling her Megan Fox. I can't say that, it's Jennifer. Because, like, she's like, oh, there's, like, very specific rules for what it means for me to dress cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she has to follow things. She's like, can't show off my cleavage because that's Jennifer's thing. Like, it's, like, has to fall into the, like, cute but best friend and not the center of attention. Like, the main character is Jennifer. I'm like,
you have to be sidekick material, but a worthy sidekick. 100%.
Yeah, it's like probably Jennifer wouldn't let her get better glasses, and that's why she has those shitty glasses.
Is this a clear reference to Mean Girls, where Gretchen is like, I couldn't wear hoops because that was Regina's thing?
Maybe.
Probably. Yeah. Because when those Mean Girls came out like 2006?
2002.
2004.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think it's very hard to
Oh,
have
wow.
come out with a teen movie after Mean Girls and not have it at least somewhat in conversation with Mean Girls.
No.
You know what I mean?
But one of the most iconic lines of this entire fucking movie happens right after this scene. It's when Megan arrives. And also, okay, another important thing is you right now figure out that there's some sort of weird connection that Needy and Megan have, or excuse me, Jennifer have, because she's just standing there talking to Chip, and she's like, Jennifer's here. And there's been not a like literally no sound, no creak of a door, no like whisper of wind. Like she just knows. And then like 5 seconds later you hear Jennifer's voice and you're like, okay, this is some ESP.
That's going to be related
It's
to one of
sandbox
my
love, baby.
going to be related to one of my discussion questions.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of
Ooh.
thoughts on this too. But then they open. Jennifer finally comes in and says one of her most iconic quotes. I'm just so fucked up. She's like, "It smells like Thai food in here. Have you guys been fucking?"
Okay, but she also has another like amazing quote also right after this when they're leaving, and she just says, "Eat my ass, Chip. You're just Jello."
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not Jello. And she's like, you're lime green Jello. Like, she fully
Green
buys into
Jell-O.
that metaphor.
It's beautiful.
This is the Diablo
Like,
Cody of
literally-
it all. It's like she was an iconic dialogue writer. A lot of it is offensive. You know what I mean? But but I feel
Yes.
like that is
Deeply. A lot of racist shit.
yes. But I feel like it's not because of any kind of really like racist beliefs necessarily, so much as she was just like, this is how teens talk, because they're all terrible.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah,
She's
some
not
of it,
wrong.
some of
Teens
it
are
you
terrible.
could take out. But also some of it is
Yeah.
very funny.
I know. The manicurist line we could leave behind, and I'm not even gonna say it. But if you know, you know. It's later in the film.
But having Chris Pratt there being like, you're gonna talk to I'm gonna say the F slur, the way that he says it, where he's just like
Where
bunch
it's
of-
not technically the whole.
should I not do it
It's
then?
not technically the word because he says it's so weird.
Yeah.
So continue.
And he has an accent on it too.
It really jumps out Midwestern because he calls them a bunch of fagos, which is just you could not remove it from the script. You know what I mean? Like you can't take it
No,
out. It's so
crucial. The plot doesn't
Happy
make sense.
Pride.
without
character
it.
choice. You know what I mean? That Chris Pratt is there playing a adult who is old enough to drink, who is trying to be a police officer, who calls people fagos, who has butt sex with a teenage Jennifer. Check. Flawless casting, honestly.
Incredible casting. I was like, I mean, at the time, if I had watched it, well, actually, I wouldn't have fucking known who he was at the time. When did The Office start? Wait, not The Office. When did, what's the show called? Parks and Rec start?
Probably like 2011-ish, 2010 maybe.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have fucking known who he was. So I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's such a reach for him to play such a douchebag. Now,
No, it aired in
2020 eyes,
April
I'm
of 2009. So
Oh,
he
interesting.
would have been, yeah.
wow.
That's really interesting. When did he film this?
But he
Because
didn't-
he's
he
not
didn't
he's
come-
not chubby Chris Pratt yet. He's still skinny Chris Pratt in this one.
He didn't start on the show on the first season, did he? Or was he in it from the
I
beginning?
think he was in the
Mhm.
first season.
Because he is
I block out the first season because it's kind of the weakest one.
he's Anne's boyfriend.
Sorry. Oh, duh. Okay, yeah.
But he's like chubby Chris Pratt like through a lot of seasons on Park and Rec, isn't he? Like,
yeah. But he's not here. I mean, they obviously filmed it earlier than 2009 when it came out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, this is letting his true colors shine as a douche canoe because we've all found
As
out the
the
truth.
least favorite Chris.
I know. So sad. So sad.
You know,
to
when
see a
people
Chris fall
show
from
you
grace.
who they are.
when
Mm.
people
Mhm.
play a role that you don't
When they
know
say
at the
the word
time,
fagos.
look, I'm not saying he's a sex pest. There have been no such allegations. But there are allegations he went to a homophobic church, so I'm just saying the way he says fagos feels right. Feels right.
Feels so
Feels
right.
right.
He said he's not homophobic.
Wow, I
anyway,
love
you
that
can cut
on
all
our-
of this.
Yeah.
I do love that on our first episode for Pride Month, we're like, let's drag Chris Pratt.
Let's just say the F slur
Fucking Chris
and we'll
Pratt.
drag
Let's say
Chris
the F
Pratt.
slur and drag Chris Pratt. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride. We love that the word Chagos is in this movie and you can't take it from my cold, dead hands.
Can't take it away.
I do love that word.
It's so funny. It doesn't
It's
need
the best
to be.
iteration,
But it
obviously.
is.
Anyway. All right. Well, okay, one thing I don't find many things about Jennifer relatable, but like how fucking geeked she is when she goes to talk to Low Shoulder. Absolutely me. Absolutely me.
Yes.
I wish I could
With
say
what,
couldn't be
All-Star
me,
Weekend?
but 100% it's me with All Star Weekend, the band that I was a groupie for, the aforementioned band that I was a groupie for.
And groupie is a, you know,
Yeah,
she
not in
didn't
the.
sleep
I
with
didn't
any
sleep
of
with them.
them
I didn't
because she
sleep
was
with
a
them. I was a
child.
virgin until I was 21. Like, put it on the record.
No,
That's not true. I was a virgin. Oh my god, I was a
stop
virgin until I was 19. Not till I was 21. I got my license when I was 21. Let's be clear.
I'm not saying it's bad information to share. Everybody's on their own path. I'm just saying.
Anyway, so as I was saying, I super related to Jennifer geeking out. I mean, like anyone would geek out if they were that close to Adam Brody, though.
Yeah, I mean, fair
Right.
enough. Especially with the eyeliner, which is what prompted that absolutely not at all scathing but funny retort from Chris Pratt's character. I just
Also, someone refers to it not as guyliner but mascara at one point during the film, and I really liked that. Like that's better
was
than
Chip.
guyliner. Oh, it's
That was
Chip.
definitely
Chip
Chip.
King.
yeah, I mean, I just think it's so cute that Jennifer is like always so in her power and owns her power, and even when Needy is like, we don't need to go talk to these band guys, she just like full blown grabs Needy's tits and is like, you have the power here, we're girls, they're just boys, like we can go talk to them. And then the second that she gets up there, she's like, haha, hi, I'm Jennifer.
Hi.
Oh, could
You're
I get you a drink? Yeah. And then she's like, let me just get you a 9/11 tribute shooter, which
Dude, that shit was fucking insane. She was like, yeah, they're red, white, and blue, but if you don't drink them fast enough, they turn brown. I was like, this is so alarming. And then she gets them after apparently showing her titties to, I think,
playing
Diablo
Hello
Cody
Kitty
herself.
with the bartender. Yes, Diablo Cody.
Yeah. And she's all upset because she's like, oh no, Tower 1 is smaller than Tower 2 or something like that. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I didn't think that like they're each supposed to represent one. Jesus, fucked up. It's been 8 years,
so
but it
good.
hasn't been long enough.
Too soon.
Too soon. But I mean, they give off fucking creepy vibes. I mean, like, it's easy to be blinded by someone who's on a stage and has a guitar and has a sexy neck tattoo of a crescent moon. It's easy to be blinded by that. But they're so creepy right away. Like, immediately.
Listen,
they're so
As
sus.
somebody with the same neck tattoo as Adam Brody in
Oh my
the
God, you do have the
movie.
same fucking neck tattoo as Adam Brody.
I did.
Did you do that on purpose? Did you fucking do that on
No.
purpose? Okay, thank God. Actually,
did
that'd be
not
kind
do
of
that.
awesome if you did that on purpose.
I did not do it on purpose, and I just noticed it this today, and I was like, oh no.
Are you part
Oh,
of an
no,
occult,
no, no,
Satan
no.
worshipping cult who goes around sacrificing sweet young fangs?
That's not what
I
they
mean-
are. They're just an indie band trying to make it in 2009.
It's tough. You
I
don't
mean,
understand
I
how
am-
tough it is.
It's so tough unless you.
What talk show host do you gotta go see?
Letterman. Oh, I wrote down that whole
Letterman.
quote, by the way.
Of
Believe
course.
me, I've got the whole.
Oh yeah.
Of course you did.
This was not the
Of course.
movie. I wrote down 1 million quotes. Most of them are like important exposition, whereas like I need to be able to reference this dialogue. I could not write down
Oh, yeah.
every funny line, or I would be writing down the script of the movie. And I looked up a script of the movie so that I could try and find it, because I was like, let me just put this word for word. I did find a version from 2007, potentially the original like 2006 script, which was on the 2007 blacklist at the time, which is like incredible scripts that didn't get made. And sometimes they go on to get made if people don't know what that is. But it is very different, and it is really interesting to see some of it is word for word the same, and then some of the changes are super different. Like Nikolai, Adam Brody's character, is like just not that he's not a monster in the film, but in the original script, he's like absolutely vicious, mean, dickhole, terrible person. Here, he's like slimy, unctuous, manipulative, oily. Like he
Slimy.
operates in a different way, and it's so interesting to see the way that it changed from the flip to the
Yeah.
screen.
Wasn't there supposed to be so there's obvious
I know what you're gonna say.
sexual tension between Jennifer and Needy, but like wasn't there supposed to be just like insane sexual tension, and then there was a sex scene between them, and then they cut it out and there was like absolutely nothing, and then they were like, they can kiss.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because there's not even a kiss in the original script. So it was like there's the original script where that doesn't exist. And maybe there's still like the lesbi gay line from that character. What's her name? Chastity. The same girl who's in Juno. And by the way, Diablo Cody loves to bring back little side characters, and I think that's fun. It's not the same character, but she like likes to give actors roles again. That's beautiful. Love it.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, she brings back that girl to play Chastity. And she has the lesbian gay line. So there's still like an undercurrent of that, but there's no kiss scene. And then in a second draft or a future draft, she was like full sex scene, and then they dialed it back to just the kiss. So it kind of ran the whole gamut.
I wish that we got the full sex scene one, but I like the one that we got. At least we didn't get the fucking straight version. Can you imagine? It's like being on straight TikTok, but way worse.
Oh, I don't think this movie could ever be straight. I mean, I even
No.
without a kiss, I don't think it could ever be straight. But yeah, I think the kiss is important. I think sex scene would be good for the gays as a whole, important. But also I think this is the right choice for the film. Because this movie is all about like the tension between them and their toxic relationship, and like the give and pull, and primarily the give of this movie from Needy's perspective. And so I think that like undercurrent and it working as a distraction for a minute is good, but also Needy is so aware of how unequal things are that I don't think she would like let herself be dragged all the way in for the length of a sex scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's too aware of what's going on around her and what's happening. She's already like turned on Jennifer at that point.
Even though she is super, super into it though.
Yes, because they are in love. They've been in love.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been in love since the sandbox. Since they since they had that unholy blood pact that they accidentally did, which I think is what linked them, and how they have that weird ESP where they know where each other are, and like Needy can like feel what's happening with Jennifer because she got that tetanus tack in her arm or in her hand.
She sucked that blood right up.
Yeah, she just as any best friend would, she sucked the blood from her wound. Wow. Amazing. What a friendship. Gay.
Very gay.
Gay even then.
Gay from day one is the thing. And there's just, I wrote down every time I felt that something was like particularly gay, I wrote down like if I just control F gay in my notes, I would be able to tell you like 20 different moments that I was like, that's gay. That's gay. There's the moment when we see Jennifer in the beginning and she's watching the workout video, but she's just staring at the girls' butts and boobs. I was like, that's gay. That Needy has a sixth sense for Jennifer, that's gay. Jennifer grabbing Needy's boobs, obviously gay. The moment when they're at the Low Shoulder concert at Melody Lane, the bar, and Jennifer gets excited and she grabs Needy's hand and she like looks at her so excited.
Yay.
Gay. The way that Needy stares back at her and then realizes Jennifer is only looking at the band at that point, and Needy pulls her hand away because she's jealous. Gay. There's just so many unbelievable gay moments. It's the I'll never tell on you when the baby blood pack scene, gay. Just absolutely everything. I
The
could go
fact
on. There's
that
1
like
million more.
Needy, I mean, and then so where we're at in the film, like this fire starts in the club. So do you guys think that
That's one
like
of my
Low
discussion points.
Shoulder, did they set the fire to cause a distraction so no one would notice Jennifer going missing or someone going missing that they could sacrifice, or what do you guys think?
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Like if they probably set up their equipment to like rig off to start a fire. I
Yeah.
don't know if they maybe thought it through that it would get as bad as it got. I think maybe they were like, we'll start a fire, it'll cause a distraction, nobody will know where everybody went, and it just, went insane.
Yeah, because I didn't think that they looked like, if I had set a fire and I didn't want people to know, I would act more like horrified when the fire started, but they didn't look very surprised or anything when it was there. Like, oh, there's a fire over there.
But also,
Very casual.
I think that is a point in the fire setting column, which is like they're not pretending, and it's because they see how horrible it is and how absolutely nobody's looking at them. You know what I mean? Everybody's distracted. And so I think maybe they didn't intend it to be that destructive, but I also would not be shocked if they did, because first of all, they're already okay with killing people, clearly. They're gonna sacrifice
Or
a
at least
virgin to
Nikolai
Satan,
is.
you know what I mean? And they're all
Yeah.
already on board with this plan. We do have a moment later on where Dirk, one of the other bandmates, starts to be like, I don't know.
Dirk.
But also the difference
What a
between
name.
setting a fire and letting people die is different than like stabbing somebody yourself. So fair enough for him to be like, I did this one thing already, but I'm scared about this other thing. But I am fully prepared to believe that the fire was exactly as destructive as they meant it to be, because they're so calm, cool, and collected, and because we see everybody getting like trampled and Needy and Jennifer having to escape, and we don't see how Low Shoulder gets out. They just are somehow suddenly outside
Are
and
out
all
and
totally
they're
fine
and
totally chill
and he's got a
drinking.
fucking full drink.
Yeah,
like a full drink with fresh ice.
Right,
Like,
he's got
okay.
a cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
So I think also it's not even so that there's a distraction so that nobody notices that they snatched Jennifer, because they could have done that without setting a fire. I think it's also so that like if someone's remains are not identified in the fire, or if someone's remains aren't found, there's just like an assumption like, oh, they perished in the fire.
Because that's exactly what happens with Ahmet. Everyone's like, he
Mhm.
died in the fire, and we find out later, no, he fucking did not.
Mhm.
That's Jennifer's first kill, and like, there's no question that he died in the fire.
Yeah.
Because they obviously can't distinguish any bodies, and they can't find him, which is so dark. Jesus Christ.
J.K. Simmons explicitly says Ahmet is one of the 8 students who died, and then also there were several parents who died, and then the Spanish teacher.
Yeah. Senorita Erickson,
Mhm.
R.I.P. Pour one out. So, and then, oh God, all of Megan's quotes. She's like, "Oh fuck." What did she say? The
Sucks
Spanish
to be
teacher
them, or
ate
something
it?
like that. Oh, you're talking about a different quote.
So later on in the movie, Jennifer explains like what happens to her like the night of the fire, and we learn they need a virgin sacrifice, but joke's on them, Jennifer isn't a virgin, and she hasn't been since middle school.
She's not even a backdoor virgin anymore.
Yeah,
thanks to Chris
to
Pratt.
Ronan.
Also, okay, like, it just makes me so upset during this movie now, seeing it, where they're so sure that they're like weird, creepy rapists that like want to have sex with a young woman who like knows how to do sex, that they're like, yeah, she's a virgin for sure, 100% she's a virgin for sure, she's a virgin, there's never been a more virginal virgin that there's ever been.
Well,
and
actually,
not the band. I'm talking about Amanda. I'm talking about Needy, and I'm talking about Jennifer. They're both like thinking that her being a virgin would protect her. But it's exactly the opposite.
It's weird though. It's weird because Needy hears the band talking about it and being like, she's for sure a virgin. And then she goes up to be like, yeah, she's a virgin, which means she's not going to sleep with you, move on. But then she goes over to Jennifer and is like, they only want you because they think you're a virgin. So she thinks that they're interested because she's a virgin, but also she thinks telling them that Jennifer is a virgin means nothing will happen. So it's like this weird dynamic where it's like it's kind of both at once, and it kind of just like rocks as needed.
Yeah, it's just
but Jennifer literally thinks that her telling them that she's a virgin is going to save her.
Oh, so sad. That part's so sad. The whole scene when she's actually in the van.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, first the scene when the van door closes and you just like have that eye lock between Needy and Jennifer, and then the van goes away, crushing, soul crushing stuff. But I mean, when she's in the van and she's like, "Hey, where are we going?" and fucking Nikolai is like, "You don't have to talk if you don't want to."
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh.
The thing is, it's like,
and he's like, I hate girls, blah blah blah. Because
Yeah.
she's like, are you gonna rape me? Are you gonna like do anything? And he's just like, ugh, I hate girls.
yeah,
What?
yeah. God.
Well, girls hate you, Nikolai. Oh, I can't even say that. He's so hot. Oh, it's terrible. He's a terrible person. I hate him. He deserves what he gets.
Yeah, I mean, I
He
think,
does.
you know, obviously it's like so sad to watch her like dead-eyed vacant stare as the van door closes, but it's such an impossible scenario if you're Needy, where it's like, you know that Jennifer's not okay. She's sitting there shell shocked, but she's never gonna listen to you. She's Jennifer, and even in that moment, she's not even being like, Jennifer, don't do this, because she knows it's not gonna work. She's being like, Jennifer, for me, like, I'm hungry. Go get something to eat with me. And even then, Jennifer is basically like, fuck off, Needy.
I know.
And
And even then, also, like, Needy doesn't have her wits about her 100% either, because she's fucking shell shocked too. They just had that such a trauma. So, like, if she was gonna put up a fucking fight, she was in no position to do that at that moment. It's just so sad.
yeah, but she has this really good line in her voiceover at that moment where she says, I watched her get into that van and I knew something awful was going to happen. He was skinny and twisted and evil, like this petrified tree I saw when I was a kid. And they like cut to young Needy looking up at this tree, and just the atmosphere it sets is like so incredible and iconic.
Yeah. I love that. But okay, the actual death scene of this movie for Jennifer, or not death, but I guess it's spooky rebirth.
The sacrifice scene.
The sacrifice scene is just so maddening because okay, the whole setup is that they're in this town called Devil's Kettle, and there's this weird whirlpool that takes whatever you throw in it and puts it into the ether, and it's gone forever, or so they think. And so I guess that must be part of the reason why they decided to do the sacrifice right there, because I was like, wow, no better place to get rid of a weapon. Very smart. I'll give them that. That's very smart. But like the half-ass nature of their entire fucking game is so stupid. Like the fucking ritual shit that they are reading
He's
is
like,
from
I printed
the
it off.
internet.
Yeah. He just
He
printed
literally
off a
printed
page.
it on 8.5 by 11 paper.
He just like went into Ask Jeeves, typed like occult ritual.
Yeah, he probably printed it on his fucking mom's printer at his house, at his parents' house, and that's what he's doing.
But the fact that he has to ask his bandmate if he wants to be like Maroon 5.
Oh, I've got literally every quote from that moment, and I've got it organized.
Please write down that quote.
I've got every
please
bit of
read
the
that
Needy
quote.
Jennifer conversation, and then I've got all of the ritual back and forth, and then I've also got all of those important moments. And that the Maroon 5 moment is Nikolai Adam Brody being like, oh, Dirk says, I don't know if we should go through with this, like I mentioned earlier. And then Nikolai Adam Brody says, Dirk, do you want to work at Moose Hoof Coffee forever? I don't, okay? Do you want to be a big loser? Or do you want to be rich and awesome like that guy from Maroon 5? And Dirk kind of goes, Maroon 5. And he says, okay, that's what I thought. So go and fetch me the ritual brother, which also is like, not to go all D12 my band, but only the one guy from Maroon 5 is the guy from Maroon 5. You know what I mean? Nikolai is clearly not here for the band. He's here for himself, and he's trying to be the guy from Maroon 5. You can't be making false Maroon 5 promises to Dirk. There's only one Adam Levine.
It's so true, but all those guys
And that
are
is
rich.
one
Yes,
too
that's
many.
true. Frankly, the rest of the Maroon 5 guys have the better deal where they just like do their thing and then get to chill and have all the money.
They don't have to be the judge on The Voice. That sounds terrible.
Which tragic.
They don't have to
Yeah.
be best friends with Blake Shelton.
They don't have to
Lucky them.
pretend to be best friends with Blake Shelton while secretly probably hating him.
Yeah, Adam Levine quit, so that probably was the main reason.
Probably that rivalry was real. Anyway, I don't watch The Voice, so I'm not that invested.
No, me neither. I literally never will.
We are just making blind assumptions of The Voice.
I
I
mean,
think we're
they're
spot on.
they're
Right on the money.
slightly informed. They're just
Educated
not totally,
guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, context clues, we've got this. But I mean, okay, it goes from bad to worse. They're justifying this by trying to be more like Maroon 5. I broke out into hives. And then he doesn't even know Jennifer's fucking name. He thinks her name's fucking Tiffany when he's trying to read the rights off of his fucking printer paper summoning of the devil or whatever the fuck it is. And just this is when he gives that really great quote that we were just talking about why they're doing this. And so I also have it written down. So you want to read it or do you want me to?
If you'd like to, I've got the whole exchange, including the Jennifer Tiffany moment, and then I've also got when he actually gets into the ritual after the fact, and they've got their whole musical moment.
Oh yeah,
which,
yeah.
We love a good musical.
The justification is super fucked and hilarious, though. As someone who works in the music industry, this was just particularly incredible. But Nikolai says, do you know how hard it is to make it as an indie band these days? There are so many of us, and we're all so cute. And it's like, if you don't get on Letterman or some R-word soundtrack, you're screwed, okay? Satan is our only hope. We're working with the beast now, and we've got to make a really big impression on him. And to do that, we're going to have to butcher you and bleed you. And then Dirk here is going to wear your face. And then he's like, relax, I'm kidding about the face thing, but the rest is going to happen.
And she begs for her life. She begs. She says, why don't you just get a publicist? We can make it t-shirts. I can be part of your street team, please. And he says, sorry, no can do. You know what? Maybe we'll write a song about you. I think as a fan, that'd be pretty cool, right? Eat a dick, Nikolai.
Eat a dick. Oh, God, what a terrible man. And then, okay, like, honestly, there are definitely worse songs to die to, but, like, Jenny, don't change that number. Like, fuck. Like, that's a cheesy 1.
7, 5, 309.
Yes,
It's
and
a
everybody
fantastic
knows
song.
the chorus of that song. Everybody's I mean, maybe not, but a lot of people are.
Every single person.
I didn't know the beginning well enough to like recognize what was happening at first until it gets to the like until it gets to Jenny, I got your number, which is when like all of the rest of the bandmates start joining in with Nikolai and they all start singing along. Even the one that a second ago was like, I don't know if we should kill this bitch. They're now like, actually, now that we have a theme song, we're all on board.
It's a bunch of white people. Of course they're gonna fucking sing along to 8675309.
Which is hilarious.
We were born with these lyrics within us.
Here's the thing.
What is the name of that song?
Is it
It's probably Jenny.
8675309.
Like, I know the phone number. I don't know the name.
It's called 8675309/Jenny by Tommy Two Tone.
They had to take that number out of rotation because you could call it in any area code and get somebody. And so they stopped giving it out in every area code.
Tommy Two Tone changed the world.
That is true. That cannot be denied. He had an influence on this movie, and for that we thank him.
Thank you so much.
But to die to that song is truly incredible and horrifying, and also in light of the ritual is fascinating because he opens it with the ritual starts with the deepest malice we deliver this virgin unto thee, and then they just like fully lose all decorum because one of them jumps in to be like, dude, that is a hot murder weapon. And he's like, it's a Bowie knife. And they're like, Bowie. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
And
Fucking God.
yeah, I mean, it's just the whole thing, because he did the whole, we come here tonight to sacrifice the body of Jennifer from Devil's Kettle. We deliver, with the deepest malice, we deliver this virgin. And then he's like, anyway, let's just sing a popular pop song, because now we did all of the formalities that Ask Jeeves told me to do. Now we just need to stab her.
I think at the end of the printer paper instructions, it has little asterisks, and then it says "sing together," maybe, and they just chose 8675309 because it's
Sing
the one
together.
song they all know the words
Perhaps
to.
inspired by the name of your sacrifice.
Yeah, sing a song.
They did want to be a pop band, so maybe they needed to sing a song so Satan would know what he was actually working with.
Maybe
like,
Tommy Two-Tone is the devil, and that's his theme song, and so they wanted to appease him.
Oh my God, conspiracy.
Conspiracy theory. I don't know anything about him. I'm sorry, Tommy. But anyway, okay, so that makes our girl a demon, a succubus, if you will, and a sexy one at that. And, you know, we already talked about how Ahmet gets it, but also one of my favorite deaths, they're not that many, but top one. Okay, I love all of them in equal measure in different ways, but the one that you see first is, what's his name even?
Jonas.
The football man. Jonas. Oh, man. Jonas. Oh, Jonas.
Oh, my Jonas.
Of course you like...
Oh, yeah, of course
you like Jonas's death, Monica.
God, we're going to reveal all of my secrets.
This one's been
on
revealed,
this episode? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was also,
There's no
before
way
I
we've
was a
kept it
groupie
under
for that
wraps
band
this
I found
long.
on MySpace, I was a Jonas Brothers fan. And now I'm cool, so you wouldn't even believe it. I'm wearing a vest right now. I look amazing. But back in the day, I also actually wore vests to Jonas Brothers concerts, but it was a different kind. And I was dressing up as Joe Jonas. Anyway, we're moving on. And so, this man's name is Jonas. Does not look anything like the Jonas Brothers. And he's super sad about his BFFL, Craig. His best friend, Craig, being slain. And
Craig!
So Jennifer comes up, completely emotionally manipulates him, and says, "Isn't it crazy that your best friend, seconds before his death, said that we should fuck?" Like, that's what she says.
She says, and I quote, "Craig said that he always thought you and me would make a totally banging couple. Isn't that so
Banging.
weird?"
Not so
and Jonas
weird.
was like, he said banging?
But, like, okay, so the sex scene is amazing, like, because, like, one, she looks so hot. I would love to make out in the forest. Sydney can't relate, but I would love that to happen. And also, like, I would also love to make out in the forest, and then I turn around and there's 20,000 animals watching. Like, that sounds so weird, but, like, if a fox showed up, I'd fucking freak out in, like, the most positive sense. Like, that, I was so excited when there's a little fox and there's a little raccoon. I'd be like, our love has the power of the mountain. I don't even know. The spirit of the forest.
Okay, actually, there's a moment in that scene, because Jonas notices them, and he's like, what are they doing, or whatever, and she's like, they're waiting. But also, seconds before that, when we see, like, a close-up of them kissing, even we see a mosquito or something, like, land on the back of Jonas's neck. I have to wonder, did they get just unbelievably lucky in that moment? Like, did they wait for that to happen? They're like, we're in the woods, one's gonna land eventually, you know what I mean? Or, like,
a highly trained mosquito actor from the same acting troupe that placed Mike Pence's fly upon his head.
But
that mosquito is a paid actor. It is a SAG member.
Card carrying, baby. But did they even, like, know that they had it at the time? I wish that I could, like, interview the people working on this movie, because they're gonna one day do, like, the oral history of Jennifer's body. I probably won't get to write it. Somebody more deserving will. But that is something I would ask about, and that is, I don't think anybody else will, and I need that answer. So if someone ever is writing that story,
I'm asking the question
if
that people are too scared to ask. Chelsea Duff is asking those questions.
If you ever are writing oral history of Jennifer's body and you're doing your research by listening to a bunch of podcasts, may this be one of those podcasts so that you hear this moment and you know to ask about the mosquito, because it was so perfect. And I don't know if they just like seized the opportunity, if they got lucky, if they somehow planned it. What if it was a CGI mosquito? Like, I don't know. I'll probably never know.
There's so many questions. But yeah, I mean, I also really love the first reveal of her demon face that she has, where like her jaw unhinges and like her skin on her face like kind of explodes too. That was not what I thought would occur, but
and
hot.
Yet she still looks so hot.
So hot. I'm like, if I'm gonna have to die by the hands of a demon, it better be fucking Megan Fox. That's just goes without saying. The best thing about this scene actually though, besides the freaky animal thing where that is apparently a dream of mine, is it's a means to an end, and that end is Jennifer swimming in the lake. That's the point of this whole scene, is to get you to Jennifer swimming nude in the lake.
And who knows if we would have gotten that end to Olivia Rodrigo's new music video, Good For You, without this scene in Jennifer's body. You know what I mean? It really set the dominoes in motion.
Yeah.
That is true.
Petra Collins saw Jennifer's body, filed it away, waited for the right moment. Good For You sprang into her lap. She said, "This is the moment. This is the moment."
Beautiful. It's art.
Fun
fate, someone would say.
Fun fact. Megan Fox wore a nude bikini while filming this scene.
So she wouldn't have to be nude in the lake? I just would have skinny dipped in the lake. But it's up to her.
I didn't see this on IMDb trivia today, and I didn't think to Google it ahead of time, although I Googled lots of things ahead of time. But I think that
Just in case you didn't know, Chelsea does research before the podcast.
Not always, but this movie I have so many thoughts about, and I have so much to say, and it's been one of those things where it's like I said, I watched it when it came out. The discourse has really changed surrounding it in recent years, and changed around Megan Fox in particular. But Megan Fox at the time was like at the height of her hot girl Transformers fame, where nobody took her seriously because Michaela didn't have anything to do in those movies other than sexily bend over while fixing a motorcycle engine. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Bay was horrible to her on those films and was horrible to her as a person. But so there's, if I'm recalling correctly, they were trying to be like so protective of making sure that paparazzi didn't get photos of Megan Fox essentially doing a nude scene, because of who she was at the time and the space that she occupied in Hollywood and the way that people sexualized her and objectified her without allowing her to be a person, which is one of the problems this movie had, not in the script or the making of the movie, but in the marketing for the movie.
The marketing.
Yeah. There's a piece on IMDb trivia where Karyn Kusama had told a story in some interview, I guess, about how when they were marketing this movie, the executives were like, what if we have Megan Fox go on amateur porn sites and talk to people? And it was just one of those things where it's like, you completely are missing what this is and what she's doing and everything that's so wonderful here, which is about this woman who is being objectified and who is not allowed to be a whole person and is just narrowed down to this one thing that people think she is, that she isn't even, and sacrificed at the altar because of it, and it turns her into this like something else that is built to survive, and she's still demonized for it. I don't know. She did this whole interview with Vulture, I think, in the last few years, where she talked about how like the sacrifice scene specifically was like important and meaningful to her because that's how she felt treated by Hollywood. Like, she felt sacrificed on the altar, essentially. And that's like what she brought to that moment. It's just, there's so much here that's so wonderful and that she does so incredibly, and it wasn't what it was at the time. It's not how she was perceived at the time. People just like refused to let her be a person.
Yeah.
Justice for Megan Fox.
Seriously.
Truly. Like, I love that she is having like a renaissance now. Like, she deserves
I can't
all
wait
the
for
shine
her new horror film
she
that's
can
coming
get.
out.
Oh, I know.
And Machine Gun Kelly better treating her right, but it seems like he worships at her altar, and so I'm happy. I saw him at a BLM protest over the summer, and we stared into each other's eyes, and I accidentally mad dogged him just because I couldn't place how I recognized him, and then he looked alarmed and looked away. But retrospectively, that was me being like, "You better treat her right," because they had just gotten together right around then. So
if he does not
doing
treat
what
her right,
can.
I will personally seek justice on her behalf.
Oh yes, I'll team up with you.
Megan Fox, you have a safe home here at Spooky Tuesday.
Megan Fox, we worship you. Anything for you, Megan
We
Fox.
worship at your altar. Seriously.
Sorry, that was kind
so,
of, I derailed the moment a little bit, but it was all important to say.
No, it's okay. Let's talk about now. Okay, so we talked about the first death. There's only that.
Can we talk about my favorite death next?
I think I know what it is. And yes.
It's Colin.
Oh, yeah, it's gotta be Colin.
And I know
that
exactly
is an
why.
artistic kill.
I know exactly why.
Do you? Why do you think it's my favorite death scene?
Because of the Akon song.
Yeah.
Well, no, but yes.
Music.
No.
And
so it is a lovely placement of the Akon song because, perfect. But this whole scene is, we get two scenes in one, basically. We get Needy, I'm assuming, losing her virginity.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually,
to Chip. I don't think that it was that.
He says, I've picked up more condoms at Target, implying that there has been previous condom use. And it's one of those things where it's like, condoms can be used for a variety of things. You know what I mean? Maybe she's given really safe, secure blowjobs. Who can say? But it's early on in their sexual relationship, presumably. If it's not the first time, it's still early on because he's like, "Did I hurt you?" Blah blah blah. Like they don't know yet.
Yeah,
their limits with each other. They're still feeling things out.
This might be like time number 2 because like she's not freaking out as much as one might assume for a first time. But yeah, they're also still hella fucking awkward about it. So that's how you know.
But so we're introduced to Colin earlier because he is in a creative writing class.
Creative
with
nonfiction. Love that detail.
He's like super emotional and deep, you know?
Yeah, he's one of the emo goth kids. Like, he is cute.
He's super
adorable.
Cute. I was like, ooh, he's got it going on. That lip ring. Hello.
He's in the car jamming out to the metal version of Johnny Cash's I Can See Clearly Now. Like, he's an icon.
Iconic. Truly, truly. What a great scene.
But so he asks Jennifer out, and Jennifer originally is like, no, and then Needy is like, he's a really nice guy, you should do it. And Jennifer is picking up that Needy kind of is into him. And so she says yes, and is like, come over to my house. Gives him a abandoned houses, or a house under construction or whatever.
Not housing projects. That's not the right thing. But like communities where every single house looked the same, and that shit scares me on a bright sunny day in the middle of July. But at the middle of night when it's all under construction, it's nightmare.
Truly terrifying.
Horror.
But so
very Stepford.
We see Needy having sex with Chip, and Jennifer, trying to eat Colin and telling Colin, like, I need you to be hopeless. I just need you to be scared.
Need you frightened.
Needy,
yes. Gosh.
And Needy is having these visions of blood dripping on her, and she sees Jonas, and then she sees, like, the demon Jennifer, and she's, like, having a panic attack, and Chip thinks he is putting in the work. God.
He's like, am I too big? Like, okay, Chip, fucking calm down.
But the way that these scenes are edited, it looks like Jennifer and Needy are kind of like going back and forth with each other. And so we get this like super intense like actual sex scene, a murder scene, and like a implied sex scene. And then we get to see Jennifer just like scooping Colin's guts into her mouth.
I really like that part.
I love that part. And the position that Colin is in is just like the one in Society, where his butt is like kind of turned over a little bit to the front.
So many front butts. There's a pandemic of front butts. There's so many. Yeah, poor Colin, pour one out. Gone too soon. But love to see you die.
But so that's when immediately after Needy goes home, she like runs into demon Jennifer in the street, wrecks her mom's windshield.
The Kia, Jennifer.
But that's where we get the actual like confrontation of Jennifer and Needy's like feelings for each other.
Yes.
Where Jennifer, now looking beautiful because she just ate Colin, she's like, best friends don't keep secrets. And she like, this is where she explains everything that happens to her. But they kiss.
They make out.
Yeah, it's okay. You're right. It's cutting between like Needy's sexual fulfillment moment with Jennifer's not sexual satisfaction moment, and these two having like a linked psychic experience of that, and then that weird confrontation in the road, and then Needy gets home, gets in bed, Jennifer emerges from her bed. And as soon as Needy starts to be like, what are you doing?
Her Evil Dead
Jennifer's
shirt.
like, I'm in my underwear wearing your t-shirt. And immediately she's like, I'm not going to bite you. And starts just seducing her. And the way Needy lets herself be kissed at first for several moments before she begins to kiss back. And then she like gets on top of Jennifer.
Yeah. And she takes the wheels and puts it in drive. Takes the wheel and puts it in drive.
But what I love about this makeout scene is it is super zoomed in. Like you truly only see like their mouths and their nose. And there's no music. You do see Megan Fox's weird toe thumbs. You do see those.
It was on my mind. It was always on my mind. I literally was like, oh, it's the thumb. It's the thumb. It's the only thing about her that is... Well, no, it's actually super hot. She rocks it.
It's just a little different, but we're here for it. But this, I think, like, one of the reasons why this movie didn't have, like, they marketed it to straight men, but this movie, like, this kissing scene is literally, it's so about the female gaze. It is not about the male gaze. This scene is textbook female gaze. Like girls. I was watching it and especially as when I saw this when I was 18 and a little baby gay, I was like, oh my God. And even at 30 now, as like a middle 30s gay, I was like, I don't want to be like, what am I now?
What the fuck were you just about to say?
She was gonna make fun of how that relative of hers called her middle-aged.
Yeah, I was.
That mean teenager in your life.
That fucking teen. He's gonna turn 30 and he's gonna be like, I was wrong. So wait 13 years.
I'll get him back. Don't worry. But I was just like, oh yeah, like this now does it for me because it's so intimate. It's so like pure and innocent, even though it has like a lot, like obviously in the grand scheme of things, it's like very sinister. Like Needy is cheating on her boyfriend. Jennifer is a succubus. Like it's this like huge thing.
Like she just saw her out in the road covered with blood, jumping on windshields, but she still is like cannot resist the allure.
Yeah, because they are in love.
She wanted this for her entire life.
But then after that, like, Needy's already like, Jennifer, what the fuck? But then after this, she's like, Jennifer, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then this is the part where we were freaking out. Okay, and you guys watch this too, right? There's that iconic quote. You guys watch for this quote as well.
Oh, it's
right?
like, I've watched this whole movie.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I misspoke. But, like, there's this iconic quote where she says, "Oh my, and so you eat people?" And then Jennifer's like, "No, I eat boys," or something like that, or "I just eat boys." And that's not in the movie. It's not in the
I
fucking movie.
almost wonder.
And that's where it should be in the movie, but it's not.
You're right.
It's not in the
Because
movie. I went crazy looking for it.
you were trying to be like, where is it? And we were like, does it happen at the school? Does it happen in the bedroom when they're talking? Does it happen all these other places? We were making guesses. I almost wonder if it was filmed explicitly for the trailer, because it's not in the 2007 script either. Like, that moment doesn't exist in there. So if it's not in the original script and it's not in the final script, I wonder if it was like an easy way, a quick way to communicate to the audience what was going on, without needing to like break into the lore of it all that she does further in her explanation.
I feel like it's just a deleted scene. Because, like,
Maybe.
okay, I would be
I was like,
fucking
is this
furious
the
as a
Mandela effect?
this makes me so mad. As someone who fucking loves trailers, like I love to watch trailers most of the time, not most of the time, many of the times they're better than the actual movie. But they also spoil everything now, and now they're doing that thing where the trailer has a little trailer at the beginning, and it makes me want to just kill people. It makes me want to do what Jennifer does to people. But like the idea of them like putting something that's only in the trailer and making you think it's in the movie, like, are they trying to make me go insane? Because I really thought I was losing my mind today trying to find this fucking quote. Rude.
Well,
it's honestly rude.
The reality is, I think a lot of the times you're right. It's a deleted scene situation in which the trailer is
Yeah.
released way before they finish putting the movie together, and so it's just like
Yeah.
that movie was great for the trailer, but they realize like it doesn't serve a larger purpose, or it's like kind of redundant,
It's
or
the
this
same
other scene
thing.
does it better. Yeah, because she's got the whole
Yeah.
talk with Chip later on where she says like she's eating boys, and she goes through the whole like the dance is gonna be an all-you-can-eat buffet, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I think probably that line died for this other line to live. Is this other line a better line? No. But does it serve the movie in a larger way? Possibly, yes.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now we've been talking about this for a decade, and we
but before
have
we
to
move
continue.
on, I do want to give a quick shout out to the line where Jennifer says, "We can play boyfriend girlfriend like we used to." Unbelievably gay.
It's like they have a history of gay. They've
Unbelievably gay.
before. Like, they literally have spooned 100%. Like, that's what that says. They sleep in the same bed. They play boyfriend girlfriend, spooned, kissed, probably.
I don't know that they've
So
made
that's why
out
they're so good
before.
at kissing.
This felt very like tentative to me, an exploration, if you will. But definitely they've like pecked, for sure.
They pecked.
You can't tell me shit.
Yeah, of course. It's canon. Okay, so the ending of this movie ends in the like quintessential way to end any high school film, at like the prom adjacent or prom equivalent.
Big dance.
Oh, the big dance. It's like the big game. Ow, I hurt myself. Okay, but one thing I have to say is that, just for a second, gotta put some shine on Amy Sedaris, who plays Needy's mom in this movie. She has like one iconic line, and the other iconic part that she has is her getting Needy ready for this dance and absolutely botching it. Just absolutely.
I think she looks beautiful.
Horrible thing that she did to her. She hurt her child that day, and physically I think she probably burned her with that curling iron, and at least her hair would need to be cut after what she did to it.
There is a line in the original script where she's like, "Ow, Mom, you're gonna burn me," and the mom is like, "Well, if Chip gives you a hickey, you can just say that I burned you," or something like that. So I mean, that didn't make it in, but also clearly the burning was an intended consequence of that scene.
Oh yeah, it happened. And then she's in probably her mom's dress from like 1981, which is a sight to behold. I love it. She looks like a bubblegum princess.
The hair, the makeup, the outrageous dress.
Rouge, more rouge than should exist ever. But you know, she doesn't care what she looks like, because she's not there for the dance. She's there for reconnaissance. She's there to protect the men of Devil's Kettle.
Which is like,
and
grow up. Get over it.
Which is like, let your friend kill whoever she wants, okay?
Guide her to better targets if that's what you want to do, but also, like, this is her survival, and I just think you should let her. I just think you should let her.
Maybe have her go. Just be like, hey, girl, like, go to the next town so I don't
Maybe
know everyone you kill.
just eat Roman. You know what I mean?
I think Roman's
Right?
already dead.
Really? In the
Yeah,
original
'cause
script, he survives. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well, then he might have, because she says, like, oh, I'm fucking a cadet at one point. And I'm like, are you fucking a cadet?
Are
Or
you
did he
actively
fucking
still?
burn to a crisp? Because probably he did. But anyway, I have to say, like, they make a huge deal about, like, how hot Jennifer looks when she's just killed a man. And I love that. But, like, let me also say that how hot does Jennifer look when she hasn't killed a man in a bit?
Still
Very
so hot
as well.
Just needs
Very
Well,
hot.
chapstick.
Yes.
but Needy even mentions that she's like, yeah, and Jennifer's like ugly. Well, for Jennifer.
Yeah,
Which means
okay,
she's
she's
still
got
really
that.
hot.
She has those bags around her eyes that I see people on TikTok literally putting lipstick around their
makeup
eyes to get
for.
that look. She just had that. Baby, she's got it in the bag. And also, like, her spring formal look, like her like wedding gown with black fringe on it, or not black fringe, black lace, incredible, gorgeous, 10 out of 10.
Looks absolutely
Would
unbelievable.
love to be killed by her in that look.
Yeah, when soaking wet, nothing compares to it. When dry, honestly,
yeah.
kind of unremarkable to me. But when she rises out of the pool, iconic. And can we just cut to the pool scene? Because Needy has one of her.
No.
Sorry,
We
excuse
cannot.
me.
Because I want to talk about Chip's tiny scarf. Why?
I told you he's doing Doctor Who cosplay.
And it's not even rainbow, so that doesn't work. Like, if he's gonna do the cosplay, he's got to do it all the way right. And that scarf didn't have nearly as many color panels as it should.
He gives me big Patrick from Fall Out Boy vibes. Like, with the hair. I'm like, did Patrick from Fall Out Boy wear a tiny scarf once? And so Chip is like, I must idolize my idol and wear a tiny scarf to prom.
It's a nod to how they considered casting Pete Wentz as Nikolai. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a clear reference. But yeah, okay. I mean, it is important to note how fucked up Jennifer is. God, every time I almost say Megan, it's so hard. It's how fucked up Jennifer is, being like, yeah, she was doing fucking varsity moves that you've never heard about with Colin. Like, oh my God! Not only are you telling him that that Needy cheated, which she didn't, but you're just really rubbing it in, being like, yeah, they did like good sex, and the sex you guys did was bad sex. Like, God, so mean. She really knows how to degrade a man before she sucks out all of his blood.
Okay, Chelsea, now we can jump to the pool scene.
I love the pool scene so much. I think that whole location is stunning, beautiful, gorgeous, iconic. I love it. I love ruins a lot. I love abandoned places. I'm too scared to go into them by myself, because what if somebody else is there, and also what if I get in trouble? But I'm obsessed. And that scene of an abandoned old pool that is in what looks like a Roman temple of sorts is just everything that I could ever wish for and ask for. And they give it to me, and then also they make it the scene of the bisexual confirmation. You know what I mean?
It is
beautiful. It has everything.
It has everything.
Even like not even foreshadowing, but like symbolic graffiti. Like, what more could you ask for?
Yes, it has hopeless written there in big graffiti letters. It has Jennifer doing her black spiky bile puke again at them, this time as some sort of like offensive weapon. It has Jennifer shooting up out of the water, dripping, soaking wet, and Chip like, she can fly, and Needy being like, she's just hovering. It's not that impressive. It's
impressive.
She's like, do you have to undermine everything I do? Iconic.
Yes, and honestly, I love
a Hannah Montana reference.
They have that face-off moment where Needy is disgusting and dirty and covered in mud, just absolutely filthy. Jennifer is immaculate, just pristine other than the fact that she's wet. And they have this mean moment where they're both trying to hurt each other, where Jennifer is like, you were the snowflake queen 2 years ago. Like, you have to take laxatives. And they're just like absolutely dragging each other. And then Jennifer, she doesn't get got because she has just recently fed on Chip. She hasn't gone full Monty, but she got enough to get the juices flowing. And it looks like she doesn't need that much, maybe. But hard to take a little without taking a lot. But Chip gets her with like the broken off pool net thing. And you have that iconic moment of Jennifer being like, got a tampon? Thought I'd ask. You seem like you might be plug-in. And it's just beautiful.
Like, if I ever get a really, really ugly tattoo with, like, a ton of script, it will be every line from this scene, beginning to end, on my entire back.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Maybe in the shape of Megan Fox's face, too. They can do that.
I believe it.
I already have 2 ass tattoos, but can I get eat my ass, you're just jello tattooed on there as well?
You've got 2 cheeks, Sydney.
There's some, I've seen both of your butt cheeks, so there's room for more. There's room for way more artwork down there.
I don't know. It's just a perfect scene. She prays to St. Jude, patron saint of hopeless causes, to please give her the power to crush this bitch. Another iconic line. Just everything slaps. And even though it doesn't so much go Needy's way, Jennifer has to like limp off. Yeah, Chip does fully die. R.I.P. Chip. And he dies telling Needy how beautiful she is, which is one thing I will say about the original script. Chip is really a ride or die homie in this movie. He only hooks up with Jennifer after she's been like, Needy was cheating on you. After he and Needy have already broken up on their own, and then Jennifer twists the knife by being like, Needy was cheating on you with Colin. I'm the one who really cares about you. I can't believe she would do this to you. And then even in that moment, she's like, tell me I'm better than Needy. And he's like, what? Whereas in the original script, she's like, tell me I'm better than Needy. And he's like, you're better than Needy, because he's so horny for her.
Ew.
I know. But it just is, Chip is such a little sweet thing here. And is he occasionally a little shit? Yes. He should not tell her that her womb is on
Sometimes
display.
He's a little dillwad, whatever he says.
But for the most part, he's well-meaning, and he really cares about her, and he gets that sweet moment at the end where he's like, "You're beautiful," and she's like, "You're delirious," and he's like, "No, I know," and then he immediately dies.
And then he's dead.
Yeah,
and he's dead. He's not delirious. He's dead. Which brings us to not the final scene of the movie, but for all intents and purposes, it's the big climax.
The final showdown.
Where Needy just yeets herself into Jennifer's room to end it all. And there's so many good quotes in this too, but I don't understand what Needy was trying to do. Obviously she's trying to kill Jennifer, but when she says, like, you know what this is for? Boxes. Is that supposed to be a joke that I don't get?
Yes.
Like, she has a box cutter. Is it like a vagina joke?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, all right.
Her vagina. And in the original script, she, like, legit tries to stab Jennifer in the vagina.
Oh. Is that like her kind of be like, what is this for, cunt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so she's like doing like a fun play on words with, okay, I get it. But then you get the best line, not the best line in the whole movie, that's impossible to say. But she said, are all of your weapons from Home Depot? God, you're so butch. Oh, Jesus.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's incredible. That's the last thing I want to hear before I die. So fantastic. And then, you know, they do that thing throughout the entire movie where they're like, I X out Needy. And finally, she's like, X out Jennifer. And then she stabs her in the throat.
Well, but the thing is, this brings me to one of my discussion questions that we've only sort of touched on, which is their psychic connection. And we've sort of posited, earlier in this conversation that it comes from their baby blood pact. I also wonder, is it linked to their BFF necklaces somehow? Because they've had this moment where they're really going back and forth. Jennifer has bit Needy at this point. And then Jennifer like yeets them up into the air. They're hovering again. And it is only when Needy like rips off Jennifer's necklace that Jennifer sort of, she doesn't become powerless, but she falls. And I don't know if it's to imply that there's something in the necklace that has some kind of effect, or if it's just like the heartbreak of Needy being like, you're not my BFF anymore, ripping the necklace off. But I have to wonder if there's like something, if it's become like a totem for them in some way that like has a larger presence, a larger connection, or if it's just like a metaphor.
I think it's the
I
heartbreak.
think it's a metaphor.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think it's paranormal.
I think that the baby blood pact did it because it's not like they had those same necklaces back when that happened.
Maybe they got them the next day.
Well,
true, but I feel
those
like
would
their
have
necks
to be, like,
probably got it a lot bigger.
and those would have to be fucking 14 karat gold if they're gonna stay that shiny that long. Just saying. The clear stuff doesn't last. It turns you blue.
Maybe the blood pact needed a physical totem to be activated. Like, we don't get any flashback
Wait,
ESP scenes, you know?
Wait, a conduit? Is that what
A
it is?
conduit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, we're back in the Conjuring cinematic universe.
No, these movies don't exist on the same plane. They're not allowed to. I won't have it.
I'm with you there. But yeah, either way, I mean, I just feel so bad for Needy that, she immediately gets found out, like, still straddling Jennifer with the box cutter in her heart when the mom walks in. Mom's hot too, by the way. Just saying.
I mean, it's Jennifer's mom. What else do you expect?
She is not
Let's watch
hot
the
in the
sequel,
original
Jennifer's
script.
Mom. Okay, well, we're not talking about the original script.
I know, I'm just saying it's not a given that Jennifer's mom would be hot. They specifically were like, do you know what? Do you know what we're going to do here? We're going to give Jennifer a hot mom. I just think it's beautiful that they made that choice. It was something that needed to be up for discussion.
It's gorgeous. It's a wonderful thing.
And I also think there's a moment in this movie where I was like, God, the parents really aren't involved here. Very classic horror movie. Because that was something that was talked about in the Nightmare on Elm Street trivia, where it was like, usually in horror movies, the parents basically don't exist. This is one of the rare movies where the parents are really part of the plot. As soon as I had that thought, instantly I was like, oh, there are Jonas's parents. There's Needy's mom. Like, here's Chip's mom. Like, it really does. Here's Colin's mom delivering an epic speech at Colin's funeral after Colin's goth friends are being performatively goth. It really, the fact that we get to see that Jennifer even has parents, I think is a nice, meaningful touch. It's goes to this is a person.
Totally. And also, like, it's probably extra shocking for the mom because, like, she's been there the whole time when they've been best friends since the freaking womb almost, so extra shocking to see, like, your pseudo daughter straddling the corpse of your beautiful
real daughter.
Also just like the visuals of like her mom like picking up Jennifer's body. Oh, there we go. After she's passed away, and she's like so like I don't know, the way her body like falls is so alarming, and also reminds you of the fact that Megan Fox lost 15 pounds for this role and is literally barely alive. I don't even know how she did it.
Right? She was like 98 pounds in this movie, which is just like
terrifying, truly terrifying. The true horror.
I don't think I have been that weight since fourth grade.
I was a child when I was that weight, but anyway. So the final chapter of the movie, I mean, like, it's still really, really good, but I feel like it loses the little oomph for me because I like it better when Jennifer and Needy are together. But I do love a redemption arc, and I do love that despite all of the shit that Jennifer has done to Needy, at the end of the day, Needy's still like, I'm gonna go fuck the bitches who started this shit. and she breaks out of fucking jail.
Yes, which brings me to another discussion point, which is when you watch the beginning, you're like, God, she doesn't need to kick that woman for asking her about Pop-Tarts, which they call Toastums. She really doesn't need to spit on her. That is especially rude. And then you see at the end that this is maybe a plan of hers. And I have to wonder, has she been acting out in order to get thrown in solitary so that she can like practice and hone her powers?
Yeah.
And did she know that this was going to be the moment that she escaped, and that's why she really went over the top with the kicking and the spitting? Or was she practicing again and then she heard this stupid song and was like, this is my goddamn moment?
I like being premeditated. And also, like, she probably planned it based on their tour dates. That's what I like to think.
I also just
they would have to be on tour for her to, like, otherwise she's gonna have to be on the lam for hella long, and she tries to find them. And that's not easy to do, even if you got demon hovering powers.
That's true. But I also think something that it always like escapes my notice at first. I never notice it when I'm watching the beginning of this movie. It's only when I watch the end of this movie that I process the fact that Amanda Seyfried's character, Needy's hair is now straight and luscious. She doesn't need her glasses anymore because she's got those like demon beauty powers that are working on her, and she's like, I am in the in between now. She's like exactly where we would have been perfect for Jennifer to be. Like, no need to murder people, but powerful, but can hover at will.
Well, now Needy's getting her own revenge, and so now she's got all
and
the
revenge
power.
for Jennifer, which I think is so important.
Yeah, so important. Still in
which
love
is,
with her,
I think,
despite
maybe
it all.
why she doesn't have to, eat the blood of,
she still needs
boys.
blood. She just doesn't need it to survive. She needs it for justice.
Exactly. And she gets that justice, and she makes Adam Brody eat his words, or I don't know. She just fucks him up real hard. She rocks his socks.
I love that whole montage of just like them being like, yeah, we're rock stars. Yeah, look, we're doing coke in the bathroom.
I'm throwing M's at people, and we're eating them off his chest, and they're like, candy chest. I thought that was a really stupid part.
But then it's like the exact same montage, but it's their crime scene.
Yeah. Oh, really well done. Really well done.
I also just think
that's fucking...
she gets she hitchhikes with a man, and there's a really great line in there where he's like, so why are you headed east? And she says, I'm following this rock band. And he says, and little does he know how true it is, must be one hell of a group. Yeah, and then she says tonight's gonna be their last show, which is, she's not trying to not get caught also, which is what's beautiful. She's just out for revenge. It truly does not matter. She's like, I will tell this man ahead of time that this is the last show. I am wearing my prison orange pants. People are gonna put the pieces together. I look right into the camera in the last moment, but also, it doesn't matter. Try and get her.
Fuck it, man.
She's accomplished her goal. All she ever needed to do was kill those shoulder. And frankly, I don't understand why Jennifer didn't want to kill them. I don't understand.
Right? Like, if Jennifer would have gone after them, that's a movie I would like to watch as well.
But also maybe Jennifer was like, I like the power. It was bad what happened, but frankly can't argue with the results.
I've never looked hotter. I am a god.
She says, I am a god.
Okay, so that's Jennifer's body, but like now we have our normal segments, and we've kind of covered the first one because the whole movie is so gay. But could it be gayer? Of course. I mean, and Chelsea, I think you had a theory that you wanted to display here.
I don't have a theory, but I have some interesting IMDb trivia and then follow-up research. IMDb trivia tells me that it maybe was a little bit gay in real life. We know that Megan Fox is a bisexual icon. And then the weirdness comes in and there's all these conflicting reports from different interviews over the years. Like there's this one from like 2009 where Amanda Seyfried said she was uncomfortable with it because it was like they know it's gonna make men horny or whatever, and like they were scared to be perceived, and they were scared to do the close-ups on their chin because they've got chin acne and all this stuff, and like Megan was like, I'm cool with it because I actually feel more comfortable kissing girls on camera because they feel safer to me than kissing boys on camera. But then there was this quote on IMDb that said, Amanda Seyfried, and I chased it down. Amanda Seyfried admitted in interviews that she really enjoyed her love scenes and kissing with Megan Fox. She said, quote, Jennifer's Body is my favorite movie that I've done. It was overlooked in theaters, but it had a DVD following. I can't believe nobody wanted to see Megan Fox and me hitting it. They had an extreme close-up of our tongues, and I'm telling you, the thing about the scene is that it's actually really sexy. I think Megan and I kissed really well together. We have similar kissing styles, and it worked. We got it done for the masses. And then there's another IMDb trivia part, as far as I can tell, not based in any reality, as far as I can tell, that was like, they maybe wanted to date in real life, but they didn't. And it's just like, what is that from? But if they had dated in real life, that's the only way this movie could be gayer.
That was me. I wrote in that IMDb trivia. I think they wanted to date. That's what they told me.
Yeah,
in like, this dream I had.
Yeah, the IMDb trivia says they both greatly enjoyed their sexual tension kissing scenes together to the point where they both started feeling legitimate physical attraction towards each other. While they were both professionals who were aware that they were only making a movie, both women later remarked that under different circumstances they could imagine having an actual relationship. Could not find evidence of those quotes existing. They're not going to stop me from believing that they may. I'm ready to. That person was having a fan fiction moment. I'm prepared to read that fan fiction. You know.
All right, send me the first draft.
Yeah, we're waiting, Chelsea.
I'm ready.
I don't write real person fic. I'm just saying if somebody else did, I'd be all over it.
All right. Well, that brings us to our second segment, and that brings us to our second segment, which is where would Maddie Lily fit into this beautiful, beautiful work of art?
Okay, we got options here.
I feel like he could be Hookman Professor.
Ooh, yes. That's a good one.
Very, very good for him. But he was a little young for that role at that time. But also, he's a chameleon. He can do
people of any
wants.
Age could lose a hand and need a hook.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, I just mean the little like hit by lightning, losing his hair look that he had as well. But he would play it his own way, and that's the whole point.
I would have also liked to see him as Colin.
Oh,
Colin.
Bring back that just Hackers Maddie Lily look.
Right? Like, I just like, ugh, yes. Like, that's... Here's the thing. To see Megan Fox disembowel Matthew Lillard.
Goth Matthew Lillard.
Awaken something in me that, like, I already know is there, but, like, I just want to see it visualized. Mm-hmm. Like, them covered in blood, like, a whole thing. Like, I'm into it.
I can just imagine him doing such good justice. Not that the original actor doesn't. But the moment when Jennifer's eyes, like, go all demon, and he's like, oh, shit. Great part.
I also think, if we're time warping a little bit, obviously he'd be a great Nikolai. You know what I mean? I think that can't go unremarked upon.
Oh, of course. Him in a little eyeliner, we know it works. We've seen it, and it works very well. Little mascara, never hurt nobody.
That said, I think this is one of those movies where it's like everybody is so perfectly cast as is. The cast is already so wonderful that, like, would Matthew Lillard enrich any role that he touched, any movie he was in? Obviously, yes. This movie is already flawless.
Yeah, so Maddie, you can take a vacation. You don't have to do this one.
Maddie can enjoy watching it with the rest of us.
So that brings us to one of the most important segments, and that is, who's the dumb bitch? And I feel like it's Nikolai.
Okay, but also it is Roman.
But any man who comes up with a word as beautiful as Fago, how could he be wrong?
Or is it just Chris Pratt? It's not even his character. It is just Chris Pratt.
I mean, I'm so happy to give it to him, but I also think like Nikolai is a good nomination, of course, but also every other member of Low Shoulder is a great nomination because they don't even have
As
the
well.
agency to do anything themselves. They're just like along for the ride.
Actually, it's not even Nikolai, because Nikolai is at least an ambition man. Ambition man. Ambitious. He is the ambition man. He's an ambitious man. He knows what he wants, and he wants to be an indie darling, and he sings, and he's good at it. Anyway, that's not what I'm trying to say. The point is, Dirk is the dumb bitch because he wants to be like Maroon 5.
Dirk wants
That's
to
his
be like
highest
Maroon 5.
aspiration.
Dirk,
And that's what convinces him to kill, is being like, yeah, I do want to be like Adam Levine. You're right. I'll kill her.
No.
all the other
It's
guys,
Dirk.
yeah, I mean, Dirk is the only one who gets a name, so it's hard to nominate any of the Low Shoulder guys who aren't Dirk. But
It goes Dirk, Nikolai tied, and then the rest of Low Shoulder also tied, but they don't get a name, so there you go.
But yeah,
It's a good
I'm
song,
fully
though.
prepared to say Dirk is the dumb bitch here.
Dirk. And it also is an alliteration. Dirk, dumb bitch. It works. Done.
Dumb bitch, Dirk.
Okay, so it's time for the ratings you've been waiting for, our knives out of fives. And I'm just going to go in right now, and I'm going to give it 5 knives out of 5s.
Okay. You already went, but do we want to even give the context of what people thought of it at the time, or do
Fuck
we
the
not even
people.
want to give it airspace on this episode because everybody was so
Fuck them.
wrong?
They're so stupid.
Here's the thing. The Rotten Tomatoes score is wrong. Like, it is just objectively wrong.
Okay, well, now we
Correct.
talked about it, so we have to say what it is. What is it? I didn't look it up.
On IMDb, it gets 5.3 out of 10, and then on Rotten Tomatoes, it gets 45% from critics and then 35% from audiences, which is wrong. Usually it's flipped, and audiences like things better than critics, but not so much here
At least
because
the
everybody
critics
had
saw
bad
what
taste.
they were trying to do. Oh, it's so sad.
All of those ratings are homophobic.
That's
and
true.
it is a fact.
That's
so
true.
They literally are. It literally, like, actually is.
Every single one
Don't
of them.
worry.
Anybody
The
that
highlighted rating review on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics is Jennifer's Body features occasionally clever dialogue, but its horror comedy premise ultimately fails to be consistently funny or scary enough to satisfy. Wrong on both counts. Very funny, very scary.
Very hot. All of them.
Unbelievably hot.
Unbelievably hot.
It's
5 out of 5.
okay.
Knives.
You know,
here's the thing. I am with Monica. 5 out of 5
Yeah,
yeah,
knives.
me too.
Like,
Only 5 knives out of 5. How
5
could I
out
give
of
it
5
a
knives.
The thing
Yeah,
is,
How could we ever? Have we ever been in agreement ever? Fucking no. And this is the movie that brings us all.
Of course, this
That's
is the movie. How could it be any other movie? I just
No, there's
think,
no other movie. This is the only one.
you know that SNL sketch with Emma Stone, something for little boys. And there's those other boys, something for sensitive boys. It's like she's the mom in a commercial. And it's like a wishing well or something. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. It's just a commercial.
Oh, I know exactly
and then
what
there are
you're
the other
talking
boys
about.
being like, "What is this?" And she yells at them and she goes, "Everything is for you. This one thing is for him." That's me with this movie. At the time, men were like, "What is this? This is so stupid. This isn't appealing to me directly like it was marketed to be. It's not for you. This is a girls gay movie." And it's flawless.
Gay girls
this is
only.
a women.
It's perfect.
This is a movie by women for women.
It's an all-girl party clothing optional.
Me and your girlfriend playing dress up in my house. Oh, that's definitely Jennifer and Needy's song.
Yeah. Chelsea,
And your
we gotta fire up the
girlfriend
TikTok
running
machine. It writes itself. It writes itself. I'm glad to see that we're all right about this answer.
Oh, yeah.
That all of our opinions are correct. So
Here's the thing.
good
If
job.
we all didn't agree on this one, I think there would
The
be
pod
an
would
actual
dissolve.
physical fight.
This would be our final episode, but luckily, we all have great taste.
We will continue on to next week, where we are going back to what movie are we watching?
We
next
are
week? Something
watching a
vampire.
movie that none of us have seen and none of us had previously even heard about, but as we researched queer horror, we came upon a very complete list, and then we picked out what called to us, and some things we'd already seen. But this is a movie called The Blood Spattered Bride that's like very old. It is
70s,
It's
baby.
from the 70s.
Yes, it's from not very, very old. Sorry, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But it is based on the
Old as
Carmilla
time.
lesbian vampire stories, which has been adapted a billion times over history. Some of the other ones on the list are like Carmilla-esque stories from like 1920 something. So this is slightly less old than that, by about 50 years or so. But yeah, it is the 1972 movie, The Blood Spattered Bride. I know nothing about it other than lesbian vampires.
It's
and
really hard to say.
Yeah,
Also, Blood
sure.
Spattered Bride. I can't say it still. I say bide every time. We'll get it. Maybe I'll get it by the time we record this. Probably not.
Maybe you'll just
Tune in
Yeah,
next
one
week
of
to
us,
find
and
out.
we'll say it for you. But yeah, all I know is lesbian vampires, and that's all that I need to know because I'm already sold.
No, that's it. Yeah, 100%. There's nothing else to say. Except, if you liked what you heard, why not rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts? Give us a compliment or two.
Please follow us on social media at Spooky_Tuesday on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, we're Spooky Tuesday Pod.
Bye, Spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamra Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamra, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.
I am going to eat your soul and shit it out, Mickey!
Thought you only murdered boys.
I go both ways.